I'm Caroline.
I'm Phil.
And welcome to our Mudlarking Happy Hour, which is loosely associated to mudlarking. We're having a quiz, we're having a chat in the chat room, we're going to have lots of fun tonight.
I'm fine.
Yes. Some fines. We've got some mail time coming up.
Yeah, that makes it kind of mudlarking.
Yes.
And all questions will be in some way, kind of, loosely, but not always directly related to the video that you may have watched because it was released last night.
So all you people who've been guessing the answers, I noticed Bill said the answer to the first one is H2O. He could or could not have got that right.
I don't think so. And can we just say for everyone out there, and we will not be making... Oh, are you going to stop me? You are, aren't you?
Just a second.
Cooper and all for the shed donation is to get more rain than us.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Oh, that's really kind of you.
I gotta be honest, it's not often I say it rained today and boy were we glad of it.
We were today.
But it has. The garden desperately needed it, and even the shed needed it, because I was starting to worry that the brand new felt on the roof, there was a slight sag to it because it'd just been under such intense heat for so long. So we have been glad of a bit of rain today, but you are right, we do get a bit of rain.
Yeah, so that will come in very handy for treating the shed.
Certainly be brilliant.
The camera a bit low. It seems a bit low.
Oh, I don't know.
Just seems a bit low.
I'm here. I'm on screen. And I'm up at the right height. And as I say, though, I was making an announcement. I was making an announcement when Jeff so politely interrupted me. I won't say rudely, because he gave me a lovely gift from the shed. We're live. This is live. Just in case people are confused, we are not in a not live show.
No, this is really us.
This is us. Last week, as you will have now gathered, we were travelling and we were up north, but we didn't go as far as Yorkshire. And the reason some of you will know that, probably all of you, because I think all of our friends in the chat also watch Docking Bay 51's live show, and they were mentioning last week and actually showed us on screen as being there. So we were up in actually staying in Bolton. We were staying in Bolton. Oh, Jill, for whatever else you need for the shed.
Oh, thank you, Jill. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much.
I gotta be honest, Jill, if I can have permission from Jeff as well, not to buy the Cooper and all, I could put these donations together, because one of the things I'm hoping to buy now is rainwater goods. I want to put, because of the rain, there we are, Jeff, it fits with your theory. Oh, look out, Rowena.
Oh, Rowena, this is from Tom. He can't log in. He doesn't know his password for the laptop, and his default computer is being naughty. Oh, thank you so much, Tom. That's really kind of you. And thank you, Rowena, for being his slave. Thank you so much. Oh, Tatiana, thank you. We got 10 euro super chat from Tatiana.
Okay, that's it, folks.
Thank you so much.
I will be definitely ordering a rainwater system from the store this week.
A rainwater system now? Yeah, it's not a rainwater goods, it's a rainwater system.
No, well, what I want to do is I want to get the rainwater off both sides of the shed. Obviously, if it just runs on the floor, it's going to have a devastating effect on the decking underneath and the posts. But if I run it to the end where the old shed was, I want to put a water butt there so Caroline can then, instead of me carrying water from here in the house down to the greenhouse, I can actually, I'm happy to do that, but when Caroline needs water and I'm not around, we'll have a water butt with rainwater for the greenhouse. So there we go. That is what I'll be doing. Thank you to all of you. That will be done. And when it's done, we'll definitely put it on a video as an update for everyone to see.
Yes, if you haven't seen Phil's shed, check out yesterday's video because it's on there.
It is indeed.
It was quite impressive on video.
Yes, and may I say that I did mention in the chat yesterday, I know I'm married to this very clever and beautiful lady, but with no bias at all, and I know so many people agreed with me. The editing this week was phenomenal. I love it when Caroline does the animation bits. I think it's great. But I would like to say, although the shed appeared to build itself, it didn't. If you buy one of those sheds, it will not build itself, honest. And what do
you mean? You could live in hope. Santa will come and put it up for you.
But I will say that building that shed was the easiest part of the job. Getting a base that was perfectly flat, level, and in the right place. That took weeks of work. Preparing the fences, because I can't access them afterwards, that took weeks of work. But the shed, that did go up pretty much in a day. But saying that, I did end up nailing the roofing felt on at 10 in the night in the dark. It was nice and warm, but it was dark. and I was trying to muffle my hammer, I was doing little taps not to wake the neighbours. But I hope you enjoyed the video.
Too low.
But if you start moving it, anything can happen. Oh, we don't know where we're going now.
Yep.
Don't move things. Don't look, Ethel.
Let's try that. No, it's completely wonky now, isn't it?
Of course it is. It always is when you touch it.
There we go.
That's why we don't touch it.
Really low.
It takes ages to set that up when we remember before we're on it.
Just look at the top of my head.
What on earth, mate? Now, something I got to do.
Before you do that, I've got something I've got to do. And that is the first 3 people in. And that first one in, no surprise really, Adam's Advanced Adventures. Well done, Adam. Second is All the Glitters. Well done. And third in was West Country Mudlark. So well done, followed very closely by Scottish Mudlarks. So well done to you.
Right.
Well, go on then, this is killing.
Have you waiting all week?
I know. The poor one, he's almost trembling with excitement and anticipation.
As I said, we met Mick and Sarah last week and we had a fantastic time. Mick was not egging it at all. When he said he's never been that hot, he's never sweated that much, I absolutely believe the guy. We cooked. It was a scorcher. And we met at 1 o'clock. So we had the sun right overhead. It was an amazing time. We're so looking forward to editing the video. As you can see, Manky is safely with us, although there was a terrible incident which Mick referred to, and that will come up in the videos. But you'll have to watch our video of the day and Mick's, because Mick was the only one carrying a camera when he and I went charging off to try and find... He's sending
us an SD card with it on.
Oh, right.
So we'll be okay.
So we'll
have the evidence that Phil...
almost lost Manky.
Can you imagine life without Manky Panda? It just wouldn't be the same.
Do you know what?
He's a star.
I honestly said to Mick on the way back, I said, if I go back and say to Caroline, he's gone, I said, I wouldn't be at all surprised if she burst into tears. Because I was feeling almost like crying because I couldn't find him.
He's just part of the show now.
But we did exchange gifts. And because they opened their gift on air, I thought, well, I've got to keep mine now. So I kept half.
I wasn't that self-controlled.
No, I've ate the orange flavoured, but I've still got the nice box of dairy milk, bigger pack, more to share, don't be daft. And I've got a sneaky feeling that these may be living proof to how warm it was that day.
You think so?
Because if they're anything like the orange ones, which tasted beautiful, but there was no way I was going to suck my teeth through them, not that you'd want to with the temperatures we've been having, I did have a solid bar of fingers because they had melted in the heat. Oh,
they're quite good, are they?
No.
Oh.
There you are, folks.
It's a bar of chocolate fingers.
1 bar of chocolate fingers, which I will...
Oh, well, don't eat them then.
No,
don't eat them.
No, I've already tried the orange ones. It works fine.
You can get his chocolate off him.
You can smash them apart. They will work, but as you can see, they are suspended. They're not actually sitting on the base. Look, can you see the air underneath? Because they're stuck to the lid.
Open up, go on, open up.
There we go.
You know you want to.
I'll open them up.
Rowena said I would burst into tears if you lost Manky. And Tatiana said, take better care of him, I know. Poor thing. Well, he has recovered now, but he was pretty sugar.
Well, to be honest, it was his fault. But I don't like to say that because I know you'll all start picking on me for blaming the bear. But, you know, he does tend to get a little bit excited when we're in new places. But the lovely thing is that he tends to stay calm because whatever life brings his way, I don't think things are ever going to get worse for Manky than they had in the past.
No, if the worst was the worst, somebody would have found him and given him to a child, or a child would have found him. But never as bad as being trodden into the floor and thinking that was it. The end of your days.
So a little message from Manky for everyone. It's one I've learned from him and I found it to be true. If you've had a terrible time in the past, then at least you're prepared for whatever the future brings, and he's had a great time.
Right, Jeff is trying to reach through the screen to get a bit of chocolate. Do that, Jeff. Open your mouth. Here he comes. There you go. Happy now?
This is what I was bought. This is my present. Now, you won't see one of these very often, but it's got a certain beauty all of its own, as I like to say.
It smells lovely.
It does. And of course, it's still edible.
Adam says if you've got a cup of tea to go with that, he'd need a pretty big mug to fit that in.
No, but I'm up to the job. I'll manage without the cup of tea.
Oh, Phyllis said it counts as one. Just one very big finger.
Right, so how many calories per biscuit? No, that don't help. 4 biscuits, approximately 108 calories.
Right, so it's a lot of calories. Let's have a look. If you have a look at the calorie count per 100
About 40
grams,
biscuits in there.
per 100 grams is 517 calories. There's 207 grams, so that's over 1,000 calories in that book, or in that bar.
I can take it.
Yes, I'm sure you'll manage. Ed Creative said it's part of a chocolate log cabin.
Yes.
Very good. Right, so I'll show you a find, and then we'll get on to a question. I found this. Now, at first, I thought maybe this was... Have you seen those really posh Victorian toilets, and they're all decorated? I thought it was one of them, because it seems like a sort of toilet shape.
Goes under.
But that's what I'm thinking. Yes, it probably is a gazunda, or a very posh jardinier for putting a plant in. I don't think it's a toilet flush because it's got no lip underneath. But then again, just to confuse matters, in those days, did they have little things where the water came underneath a lip here, or did it just come through a hole in the back?
I'd say, look at the dimensions, that's going to be, and the way that comes back out, a gazunda.
That's what you think it is it?
Yeah, it's a potty.
Think it's a potty?
A
that goes
potty
under
that
the
goes
bed?
under the bed, that's what I think.
It's really pretty. I just love the pattern on it.
I love the bird. See the
Which
bird?
way up is he, haven't we?
He's there.
I've shown the wrong bit, I think. There we go.
He look good.
He does, doesn't he? I'm struggling today. I've got my new glasses on, and my new glasses are actually worse than my old glasses. I've been trying to get used to them, and it's just not happening. So I've got to ring the company and say, you're going to have to test my eyes again. I've got 2 pairs. The one they've already changed, and that one still doesn't work. So I can't read properly with them. I can't read through yours because they're so foggy. Phil doesn't believe in cleaning his glasses lenses until it's black.
I have plastic lenses. They're £1.49 in the shop.
Right, so should we have a question? Lots of people thinking a gazunda or a chamber pot.
There we go. Okay, folks. Question number 1. We found a kettle on our adventure this time. We didn't bring it home. I think it was better suited, as somebody suggested, to a hobbit house than to actually making a cup of tea, because it had had a bit of a bad life. There was half a kettle, really, wasn't it? But it did put me in mind when I found it of the old nursery rhyme, Polly put the kettle on, we'll all have tea, which was published in 1797. The question is, who was Polly? Was it the composer's sister, which would be A, daughter, which would be B, or maid, which would be C? A, B, or C? Do you think that Polly was a real person, as was Suki, and Polly was in the rhyme related to the individual who wrote it? Was the composer related as father?
We've lost yourself.
Well, I was going to say father, brother, or boss, but
No,
actually it's sister A, daughter B, or maid C. Well, we've got lots of answers coming in.
Yes, we have. I'll show you. There is. You see that one there? See if we can find the right place, and then I can go down to the bottom again.
Ah, what about there?
And there's one a lot higher, but that came in before you asked the question.
Did it?
Yeah. I think. Just a second. Sorry about this, everybody. Chat amongst yourselves. Yeah, I think that one was in before. But if you want to do it anyway. Right then.
Yeah, well.
So we've got loads of answers in, and a lot of you are very good and you've got the right answer. Bill, it is not H2O. But you can keep trying. Right, Ellen says, why are you writing letters? In the answer. So if you think answer A is right, you put A. If you B is right, you put B. And C, if you think C is right.
The reason we introduced it was some people struggle, especially if they've got arthritis, to type the full answer. So I've turned it into multiple choice, so it's just hit a B, an A or a C, because a few people were finding typing the answer slowed them right down. So even they knew the answer straight away, they came in a long way down. So I've started introducing multiple choice. You can write the whole answer if you wish. Some people do and still manage to win, which is incredible.
Now, Ellen, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. I don't think you are, but you're right at the reason why you're on the countdown. If you come in late, it takes you to the beginning of the video, and then you've got to slide the bar down to the end for any of you who come in late. Otherwise, you end up right at the beginning, which is well behind everyone else. Sheila is asking you to sing the song.
What?
Polly put the kettle on. I think you can do that. It was a while ago, wasn't it?
It was 1797. If they still got copyright on that, it's terrible. So how does it go? Polly put the kettle on, Polly put the kettle on, Polly put the kettle on, we'll all have tea. Sookie took it off again, Sookie took it off again, Sookie took it off again, they're all gone away.
Now, that should be Christmas number 1, what do you think?
There you go, there you go. My rendition, that's the first song she's let me sing. Every time I start singing,
do that one. It's not in
Caroline
copyright.
uses the excuse of no copyright because I've got an awful voice. Anyway, we should get back to the questions.
No, come on now. Phil is always writing songs. He's a big songwriter. And so, like, if you were writing about eating chocolate fingers, what would your chocolate finger song be?
Don't know.
I know what the word. The words would be, I'm eating chocolate fingers, I'm eating chocolate fingers, I'm eating chocolate fingers, I'm eating chocolate fingers. And he has a similar thing where if he's walking in the sunshine, he'll say, I'm walking in the sunshine, I'm walking in the sunshine, with various tunes. It's the same sentence over and over, so he's not really a very good songwriter.
Have you ever looked at the words of a hound dog? And that got all around the world. People sing it all the time.
Well, there you go for it. Christmas number 1, you heard it here.
Anyway, I'd better give an answer.
Yes, you better had.
Okay, folks. Actually, it was his daughter. Now, bit of a clue there, in as much as possibly if you're going to write the nursery rhyme, you'd write it for your children. A little bit of an edge. But the story goes that the gentleman back in the 1700s had 5 children, 3 boys, 2 daughters, daughter Polly and a daughter Susie, who Polly always called Suki. And the boys always wanted to play fighting games and the girls didn't. So when the girls wanted to get rid of the boys, Polly would say, I'm going to put the kettle on. And then the boys would go, oh no, we're not playing house. And they'd run out the door and play in the garden. So Suki and Polly got the lounge all to themselves. And then as soon as they went, Suki would take it back off again. So Dad wrote the little rhyme about his 2 little girls who used to trick their brothers into thinking they were playing house so that they could get rid of them. And that's where it comes from. So that's why Polly puts the kettle on, that's why Suki took it off again, that's why they'd all gone away. And there was a slight difference to it because at one time it got mutated and in some parts of the world they sang Molly. Molly. So
right,
there we
so
go.
Now we know.
There we go. So,
right,
who got
first?
it right? Now then, there's a bit of a question over whether or not Flower Girl in Ward 17 actually put B down before I'd finished giving the question. But we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt on this occasion and say that Flower Girl in Ward 17 had B.
Well done.
Followed by West Country Mudlarks with a B.
Well done.
Louise Guerin, B.
Well done.
And then they keep going down on B's.
Loads of B's.
Because the Crafty Caravanners, Go Beachcombing got B, Alison Cutler got B, Ed Creative got B, Jeff got B, Linda got 2, Christina Hine got B. So we've got to go all the way down there before anybody got a different answer.
Yes, well done everyone. That's really clever.
Excellent.
We've got some interesting things here. Charlotte said the song should be I'm eating chocolate fingers. Oops, they've all gone away.
I'm still eating them.
Oh dear, I've lost it now. It's jumped so quickly. Oh, that's right. Jerry Ann said, what did Phil do with the money his mum gave him for singing lessons? Ellen said, hey, like ABBA, Waterloo, Waterloo, Waterloo.
Well, see.
There you go. Sarah Larkin said, I'm a singing teacher. And I say, well done, Phil. There you go.
Teachers are meant to encourage you, see.
Yes, but she's doing a great job.
You'd never make a teacher.
No. I poke people too much.
Yeah.
Right then.
I remember when they
in the
decided
chat.
teachers shouldn't use red ink. But when I studied, I actually studied for a degree for a short time. That was when I was thinking of being a politician. I changed my mind, so I gave up my degree. But I was studying for a degree, and obviously nobody had told my lecturer not to use red ink.
Yeah.
Because they used a lot of red ink.
Yep.
But one of my lecturers gave me an A star, saying that I was the first person in our college to produce an essay on Wuthering Heights that had original thought in it. So there we go. That just goes to show it does pay to have an empty head, because you can come up with original ideas.
Right, I'll show you a find. I don't know if you noticed this. This is my favourite find of the day when we were... Well, of that particular... We went for 2 in one day. For the second mudlark, this was my favourite. So, I think it's lead because it's quite heavy, but it's bigger than... You usually get little toy soldiers like this. It's quite a size. I think she was holding a basket and feeding the chickens. And I think that is what she was doing, because I've seen lots of, farmers' wives feeding the chicken. But she's got no legs, so I've got to decide what to do with her. Not quite sure. I think Lexi came up with a good idea yesterday, and I've completely forgotten what it was. Oh, I'm getting old and forgetful.
I'll go back in the comments. It's heavy, isn't it?
It is. It's very heavy. You can tell it's lead. But it was a really nice find. We don't usually find dolls, bits and pieces, and people. But I was so pleased when I found that one. Flower Girl said, "Congratulations for having an original thought."
I did.
So there we go. She goes for now on top of the Eiffel Tower, as you do.
Yes.
But she never thought she'd be on top of the Eiffel Tower.
And that's what they call an original thought.
Bill said spelter metal. Oh, thank you, Bill. Because it is quite heavy, but I'll go with that.
There we go.
It does got a bit of rest on it as well.
Shall I show a find? I'm going to show a find just to confuse everyone. Not from this video, but from last week's video.
Right, from last week.
Oh, yeah, just to confuse people.
Well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to pinch some of your chocolate biscuit.
You shouldn't do that. That's naughty. I don't pinch your presents.
Well, because they're not edible.
Yeah, I pinch them if they're edible. That's because I'm trying to help you, because you do say, would you like one? And I don't like to say no, because I think that might undermine your confidence. So I say yes, and I take them.
Thank you. He's so thoughtful.
I am. Thinking of you, dear. All the time. Anyway, week before this, on the video, Caroline picked up a piece of china while we were still mudlarking with Tom, except not on a mountaintop or on a river. That was the piece of china. And so many people have identified that. Caroline, when she picked up, it's amazing. When you're viewing through a camera and you're mudlarking, you're trying to think on your feet, you don't recognise things.
It's about this size on camera because you're looking into it.
And Caroline thought, oh, maybe it's a leaf or something. And fair play, the comments have been flooding in suggesting it's possibly a silvac bunny ewe. And the reason that we recognise it to be so, and should have known such, is because there is our
bunny.
Silvac bunny.
And this was very expensive. I had him in a car boot sale and he was £1. But the only reason he's £1 is because his head has been off and glued back on.
Well, this is yours.
It's yours, that's right.
Can you see the glue mark?
I don't mind. He's still cute.
For those who think that we make up the fact that we appreciate broken things, it's not true. We didn't make it up. We do appreciate broken things. What's wrong with a bunny that's had his ears glued back on? That one was £1 and they're probably about 30 quid to buy otherwise. But there we are. Just so that you can see that you're probably right. There's one ear up against another, and there's one very cute bunny to say hello to everyone.
Phyllis said a ceramic elf canoe. It could be Phyllis. And lots of people saying, yes, bunny ear. Thank you, Lexi. That's right. Now he said, put it in a frame. I remember now. Oh, I don't know. My memories are shocking. They do reckon that because we've been locked down for so long, our memories have got a bit worse faster than they would do. Now, I like to blame that. I don't know if it is.
How do I blame that?
You've never remembered anything.
No, unless it was because
stop eating those biscuits.
I must have been in lockdown since I was a child, if that's the reason.
Oh, Jerry Ann said Bunny has a spare. Or we could turn him into a unicorn, couldn't we? Stick his other ear coming out of his head. Right then, let's have another question.
Oh, go on then. Another thing we found on the mountainside, which we do find from time to time, and we rarely bring home with us because it's generally rusted away, is enamelware. Caroline found a piece of enamelware. Quite often kettles are enamelled as well.
And potties.
Yeah.
Kettles, potties, that's the sort of thing.
And sometimes car parts, particularly motorbike headlights, that sort of thing, with the enamelling on them. So I have a question with regards to enamelware. Because enamelware was the first mass-produced American kitchenware. It was massive. And all I need to know from you is, in which decade do you think production of enamel kitchenware began in the USA? Do you think it was in the 1870s, the 1890s, or the 1900s? When do you think the mass production of enamel kitchenware started in the USA?
Hello, Phyllis. It's Phil's mum. Hello.
So we got A, 1870s, B, 1890s,
Ooh, look at these answers
C,
coming in.
1900s. Hello, ma'am.
Lots of letters coming in. Jeff is the first to put a number 1. But so there we go. There is our winner.
You think so?
Question number 2. I think so. Yep. Let's check there. I've got to check the paper. Phil asked me some of the questions, so sometimes I know the answer. Sometimes I've forgotten what the answer was. But there we go. I now know who's got it right. And let's go down to the bottom.
Whoa.
Oh, Lena Ramey said, hello from Michigan. My mom is a regular here, but she's away for the weekend, so I'm watching for her. Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, that's when you know you've got loyal followers. I tell you what, folks, we may not have as many subscribers as some other channels, but we can't fault the loyalty of our people when they send surrogate viewers to sit in and watch for them when they can't be there themselves. Now, fair play, that's
devotion.
That is.
Or dedication.
That's commitment. That's real commitment to the channel.
I hope you enjoy it anyway. I hope it's not too difficult for you watching us.
That's right. And if you don't, blame your mum. Right.
Yvonne said you're going to need a bigger shelf back there. I keep taking things off every now and again, and it just
but
fills back up
sometimes
again.
we're in a rush and things get left on, so we're a bit overcrowded this week, to say the least.
Phyllis said surrogate viewers. And Lexi.
Yeah.
Right then, so who won?
Right then. Actually, we have got a variety of answers that have come in, but we have 3 correct answers straight off the top of the shelf, because Jeff said 1870s, and he's correct.
He said number 1, didn't he?
He said number one.
Yeah.
Which is 1870s. Followed immediately by Crafty Caravanners Go Beachcombing, who were followed immediately by Adam's Advanced Adventures
Well done,
Mudlarking.
three.
So we had 3 in a row, one after the other, correct answers. So it's Jeff, Crafty Caravanners, and Adam take first, second, and third. It was in the 1870s. That's when the boom began, and really was selling till around the wartime. It's still available today, of course. You can still buy enamel, but now it's more kitsch. That's the word, isn't it? People buy it for the old look, but it really was extremely.
Some people, I think, still use it for camping, but it chips so easily.
Yeah, but it was extremely popular for about 70 years, and it began in the 1870s. And there we go.
Right, let's have some.
Chocolate biscuits.
No, will you stop eating chocolate biscuits? Now, I've got 2 things to show you for mail time. Now, this has already been opened, but I wanted to check it was working, and look at this. I have been absolutely melting. Now, I'm going to use Phil's USB port.
If it works.
Can you plug that in?
Okay.
This is a portable cooler. You put water in the top, which is in, and then you... What is that? What is that? Press the button. Turn it on. There's the fan.
Because as water comes out, you're blown over the mic and over your computer.
I'll turn it that way, and then you press this and it turns on. Can you hear the noise? It's quite an oomph in it, and also
turn it this way.
Look at that.
Watch the water on top.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
Oops.
Hold it like that. That's the safest way to hold it.
It's got multicoloured lights as well, and
And a wobbly.
Look at that. wobbly louvers on there. So thank you, Phyllis. That's absolutely brilliant. And also, anything with shiny lights has got me. So I love the fact it doesn't look so good on camera, but these colours are really bright and vibrant. You can turn them off if you had it on, say, at night and you didn't want it to keep waking you up. So there we go. Well, I'll turn that off now, but oh, it's really nice. The weather's changed, but it's still really close and humid here.
We're cooked here tonight.
We are.
It's warmer indoors than out. You just can't get rid of the heat now.
I look very sort of well dressed. I've actually got shorts on underneath this because I'm just so hot.
When we were up at Bolton staying, when we met up with Nick and Sarah, our temperature in our room, the lowest it went to during our stay, which was early hours of the morning, it got down to 29.5. It stayed over 30 continually there was no aircon there, and it stayed over 30 for the 3 days, didn't it?
Yeah, oh, it was absolutely boiling.
Steaming.
Oh, Lexi's got one of those fans as well. They're great, aren't they, Lexi? And what I like, Phyllis was saying something I hadn't thought about. If I want to take the computer, the laptop and work down the garden, normally I can't when it's really hot because it's so hot. Because that runs on a USB porting thing, doesn't it? Connection, not porting thing. So I can take that down the garden with me and sit on the hammock with my own air conditioning. So I'm pleased with that.
Hello to
Crafty
Janice.
Caravan has got one as well. Whoa.
Hello to Janice Walker, who was recently arrived.
Right, hello. I missed somebody.
It was further up is where I took
okay.
He's in the middle of all the answers to questions. That's how I saw it.
Right, so we get this as well. When we were away, Mick and Sarah gave Phil the chocolate, as you've all noticed. But they gave me this.
Is it edible?
No.
You sure it's not edible?
Well, you can try.
Ah.
Don't think it'll do your teeth any good.
I win. I got the edible one.
Right, so let's have a look what we've got. Oh, Phyllis said it'll end up in the shed. No, it won't, Phyllis. I won't let him. I'm sure he'd try to. It's one of Sarah's kits, so we got... Put that down there. Sorry if it's a bit noisy in front of the microphone. So we've got some really old newspaper bits. Look at the colour on those. Which way up is that? That way. There's a man with a... I can't remember what they call those hats now. There is a name, isn't there?
Yeah, I used to know that one.
I've forgotten what the name is, but... And
I'm not allowed to sing a song, goes that.
No, you're not. And...
Whispering trees.
So, oops, that way up. Lots of little bits of advert and print and things, and a really lovely colour. They're so brown, they look so old, don't they? But that's not all. Because they go with some gold leaf
bits.
and some string with, what's it, the beads on just string.
Ooh.
And we've got some, put these on, decoupage glue for putting some decoupage on them. We've got some gilding glue to put the gold bits on. We've got 2 brushes, 11 and a 12. And we've got, oh, look into you. I haven't looked. I opened the bag and I said to Sarah, I won't look anymore. I opened the box. I said, I'll open this on the live show. We've got a bit of pipe stem, a glass bottle stopper.
What's a large one there?
It is, isn't it? It's really heavy, that one. Whoops.
Oop.
There's a button. And we got another bit of pipe stem. And another button. But look at this. It's a frozen Charlotte. I've never had a frozen Charlotte. It's been on my bucket list. I know I didn't find it, but I've actually got one now. So I'm really pleased with that. And all that goes on a ridged pottery jar. And as you all know, what is a mudlark without ridged pottery? So,
Indeed.
So I'm going to have ages of fun with that. I don't think it'll be... Sarah makes them. If you go and check out on her channel, Docking Bay 51's channel, she's really good at it, but I don't think I'll be up to that standard. I'm not quite as clever as her when it comes to craft, but I'll certainly have a go. Perhaps I'll do it and record it and you can all have a laugh and see how I get on.
I may be mistaken, but I think as well as making the pots on the craft channel, I think Sarah also sells the kits.
Yes, she does.
She does. So if you like a kit, then you look up Sarah's details, Docking Bay 51. And can I say, as much as Caroline is going to have lots of fun, I am also having lots of fun with my present.
Yes, we did notice.
Half gone.
Right then, so...
Will they last the hour?
Probably not. Let's have another question because time is getting on.
Thank you to everyone for all the nice comments about the view. that we tried to capture up there. And on this occasion, as well as putting a bit of it to music, I wanted to try and talk you through the view a little and just take the time to look at it with you. And I pointed out numerous things that were man-made in that gorgeous setting. Pointed out the obelisk up on the top, the church. One of the things I mentioned down there...
Can I just interrupt everybody? Thank you very much, a pith helmet.
A pith helmet.
Thank you.
A pith helmet, that's right. It was a pith helmet, you're right. One of the things I pointed out were the rows of terraced houses that just cling to the mountainsides up there, even as they do in Wales. Now, I'm used to terraced houses. I was raised in a terraced house. I was born in a terraced house on a hill like that, because they build terraced houses and they stagger them down the hill. I was born on a hill in Britha. And Caroline was born in a terraced house. And we lived in terraced houses throughout our lifetimes. And I always thought that terraced houses were sort of, from the industrial times, you know, they really came up with the idea when they were sinking the collieries, opening the mills, etc. But it seems that I was mistaken, because while they were an extremely quick to build and simple method for housing the working folks in South Wales and in Yorkshire and throughout the country, wherever industry was taking place, they were around a long time before, as they were introduced in London over 400 years ago. Almost 400 years ago, I should say.
That's
Almost.
right, you get your facts right.
Almost, that's right. It's 10 years short. 390 years ago. And they became extremely popular in England after the Great Fire, because when they rebuilt London, then they put terraces in, which was in 1666. From which country? Because we pinched the idea. As with most things, you get an idea when you see it somewhere else. From which country did they take the idea of the terraces that were built in London 400 years ago?
No, you didn't ask me this, and I'm not sure. I've got an idea, so I'm going to have a peek.
Was it?
There was that one or another one.
Was it A, Italy? Was it B, France? Or C, Germany?
I guessed one of the answers. I guessed the right answer and another country that isn't even on the list. So I suppose you can count me as 50% right. Interesting, no? If you have just think in your mind where you see pictures of lots of little houses all joined together. Whoa, look at the speed these answers are coming in. Hold on.
Was it A, Italy? B, France? C, Germany? Where did they see the terraced houses?
There we go.
And then bring them in.
You know that one?
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Sorted. And did I see Tom Burley in? Has he found his password now, or am I imagining that? Maybe I was flicking up and I may have seen somebody else writing his name. Come on, Tom. You've got to come up with that password. Right. So I think we definitely got a right answer in by now, because they're just flying in. And nobody guessed, I don't think, the second one I guessed. Because I guessed the right one and one that's not on the list. I did guess Spain.
You guessed Spain and it wasn't on the list.
It wasn't on the list, no. So
I should have put it on the list, then you'd have got it wrong.
Yes. But I also did guess the winning one as well. And I thought one or the other, just picturing when I've seen scenes or photographs and things, that's what put it in my mind. Right. So
I've just eaten my biscuit. That's not allowed. Oh, that's naughty.
What about see Phil cry? Watch me start to shake.
That's naughty, guys. Please will everybody comment and tell Caroline to give me my biscuits back.
Or do you think Phil should put his biscuits away and have them later?
I suppose I could. Have them with a coffee for supper.
Yes. Good idea.
We've got 3 correct answers. In fact, we've got loads of answers and lots of correct ones, but we've got our top 3. And top of the pile, with the correct answer, Italy, was Rachel Bailey.
Well done, Rachel.
Who was immediately followed by Flowering Girl in Ward 17.
Well
who was taking
done.
silver this time and took gold earlier. And then our next correct answer going down is Jeff. Jeff has got Italy as well.
Well done.
They're our first 3
Congratulations.
with Italy as the answer. And I can tell you, because I have done my research, that Covent Garden, the terrace at Covent Garden, was laid out to resemble one of the palazzos in Venice.
Right.
So they got terraced houses in Venice. Like, if you think, we look at the canals and we don't stop and think about it. But those canals have been there for centuries, and all the way down, they're all terraced houses. I never thought of terraced housing in Venice, but we've been there twice. I should have, because you're just looking down rows of terraced houses.
Well, Ed Creative said Machu Picchu was terraced.
Here we go then.
That's very old, isn't it? And Phyllis said somebody is going to have tummy ache tonight. Yes, I agree, Phyllis.
No.
And Lexi B said, my mum said Phil won't sleep tonight with all that sugar. You're right.
I will. I'll sleep. Eventually.
Oh, there we go. Linda said, about Phil eating. When I was a child, a neighbourhood mom told us kids if we didn't have enough to share with everyone, we should not eat in front of them. So there you go. If you haven't got enough to give how many people have we got watching?
120.
So if you haven't got 120 chocolate fingers, then you mustn't eat them.
Yeah, but you also have to have the means to share, because although I'm eating it in front of these people, they're all sat out there eating things in front of me.
You can't see them.
I can't see them. See, they probably sat there now eating their chocolate fingers and laughing at me.
Probably. Jess said, just watched a video on early Italy, coincidentally. Or when we went to Italy, before lockdown now, it was wonderful. We went to a place called Bardolino. We were actually staying between Bardolino and Garda, on Lake Garda. And
we did a film of that.
We did. It was really magical, because you went in and they've got all these frescoes up on the wall that are really old and tatty now. Nobody's touched them up or anything. They're like they were when they were done originally or a long time ago. And you just get lost in all these little tiny windy alleys, and you really felt like you've been taken back in time until you got out on the front, and then there was the ice cream parlours and the big boats and things. But when you went up into the shops, it was beautiful. Right.
I'm just reading the comments about chocolate fingers. Somebody says,
Oh,
all right, I got my own.
And Flower Girl said, hey, I ate my own biscuits, I'm good. And Lorena said, yes, give us all one. But you see the fuss he made when I pinched a little end bit. Cool.
It was just for effect. It was so they'd all sympathise with you. Yeah. It's to win you the sympathy vote.
Thank you. Linda is having chocolate with coffee. It's my favourite breakfast. Sounds good.
That's right. I'll just pretend I'm not in Wales and it's breakfast.
You're making Rowena and Tom very hungry. Stop it.
Sorry. It's not my fault. I blame Docket Bay 51. They bought me the chocolate biscuits, and me being a good boy and keeping them for virtually a week in order to eat them on the live show.
Scottish Mudlarks having coffee and walnut cake. Lovely. Oh, good night, Bill.
Good night.
Oh, Linda said the only way I have chocolate fingers is when I dip them in chocolate icing or chocolate cake batter. Oh, wow. That sounds terribly unhealthy, but terribly tasty. Oh, and Lynette had a chicken kebab. Very nice.
Right, let's show a few broken bits.
Catherine said, how many peeps are left? Oh, loads.
And I never, ever, ever ask for a peep. They're too sweet.
Bye, Jerry Ann.
They're too sweet and too soft. They're pretty pot.
Pretty pot.
Very warm. Very nice. Here's a half a pot. It looks like something off a Greek island, doesn't it? Lying in the sand sort of thing.
It does.
That sort of effect. Because obviously it was made to look like one of those little urns. And then little urn. He was on Morecambe Wise, wasn't he?
He was, wasn't he?
Little urn. And he got broke. So there we are. We brought that one on. Yeah. That way.
It looks lovely that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then it looks
not so lovely that way.
Different from the other side. But I have cleaned it, look. Look at that. That was bonking.
Oh, wow. Lynn B's eating jelly tots. I haven't seen jelly tots for years. Wow. Do they still do them then? Oh, there we go. Now I know.
And there's a cleaned up version of our piece of marmalade pot.
Ed Creative said that was a mustard pot, the last one.
That's what it was, there. There we
It
go.
would make a good wall pocket, wouldn't it, Jazz, dear? Something little coming at the top.
Yeah, our medal-winning marmalade, London 1862. Obviously, that's where they won the award. Because if they're making it in London in 1862, they really shouldn't have called it Dundee marmalade.
No.
That'd be cheating. Of course, there's a story behind Dundee marmalade. There's a legend that a Spanish galleon was taking refuge in the port of Dundee, and a local grocer bought very cheaply his stock of Savile oranges, Seville oranges because they were
Savile
he was
oranges.
stuck. And when his wife tried tasting one before they sold them, found they were extremely bitter. So they thought, now what do we do? You know, I can imagine her saying to him, darling, I think you've made a bit of a boo-boo.
Yep.
And you have bought 12 crates of oranges that no one's going to eat. But they put their heads together, chopped it all up, made it into marmalade, started an industry that's still going. You can still buy Dundee marmalade to this day.
Now, interestingly enough, you're saying about that, when we lived in Spain, there were orange trees in the middle of the houses were facing each other and in a courtyard, and they had orange trees in the courtyard, and the kids used to pick the oranges up off the tree or off the floor and throw them at each other like snowballs. They must have really hurt. But I would imagine that's because they were bitter oranges and nobody wanted them.
And last but not least, in my brokey finds, look at that for one extremely melted green pot in our boot. And still usable because it still holds water and it is open at the top. So fully functioning but slightly distorted. There we go.
Oh, Linda
How
Hardy
lovely.
said there are 2 Lindas now. Me, Linda Hardy, and Linda Peterson. There we go, popular name.
There we go.
I've got a cousin Linda. Right then. Oh, where's that gone now? Oh, dark chocolate covered orange jellies. I'll tell you the ones I love. Have you seen the like slices of orange and they candy them and then they dip those in chocolate? Ooh, you shouldn't eat the box full. I had a box for Christmas and ooh, they were lovely.
And of course, on the video before last, we found this little bit of china, which I'm showing today, or a little bit of pot, because when we found it, it said Medal of Merit, and Caroline said, oh, I wondered if that is off a marmalade jar. And then the following mudlark, up on the mountain top, we found a marmalade jar that was definitely a marmalade jar and has a reference to a medal on it.
So there we go.
So there we go, 2 different mudlarks. Small bit, Caroline took a guess and she seems to have got it right.
Now Lexi saying she only likes lime marmalade. I'm the same. Do you know what I think? It's because it's sweet, not bitter. That's my, because lemon marmalade and orange marmalade is a little bit on the bitter side, but lime marmalade is more like jam, isn't it? Very nice on toast with thick butter. You have to have thick butter. It's compulsory.
Another piece of green glass. A piece of green glass with a very, very deep
Look at that.
pontil in the
you
bottom.
can't-
Don't know if you can
Punt,
see
I
it.
think that is, isn't it?
Ah, wherever it is.
Pontil is the lumpy bit, but I think the depth of the hole in the bottom is the punt. So you can't see, can you?
But I have a feeling this is not a very old bottle.
Right, why's that?
And I
Because
think,
his Asda's on the side.
no, and I think the reason why if you show that the bottom is pushed into there, so a quarter of the content of this bottle has been lost. And I think that may have been done purely to make you think you're buying more than you are.
Could be.
The reason I'm thinking that is because the cork is still inside and it's in fairly good nick.
Right. It could be then. What do you reckon? Do you think that's a...
What do you think, folks?
New one?
Old, new, or middle-aged? That bottle. You say, there's the top for you to have a look at, because...
Oh, Mark Birchall's eating a bowl of vanilla ice cream with Cadbury flake fingers in.
Mark, all I can say to you is, if you haven't got enough to share with 120 people, put it back in the fridge until we're finished, because you're making us all jealous.
Only because I'm taking your chocolate biscuits off you.
Hey, no, it's terrible, isn't it? You wait. Tomorrow night, I'm going to settle down with a feast while we're watching Dorking Bay.
Yep.
And then nobody will know. I won't tell him in the chat. I'll be good boy, like I won't tell him. Now then, saying that, although the cork is still inside and it looks relatively good condition, there is a dink in the glass, which is unusual for a modern bottle, isn't it?
West Country Medlarks don't think it's that old.
No.
So,
It's weird. There's a dink in the glass, which is unusual. But at the same time, there's a cork inside. But I'm just wondering if somebody had the bright idea of, like they make the tins of sweets or the plastic tubs of sweets, Quality Street, and they raise the base. So when you open a tub that big, inside is only that deep. I think they've done the same here. I think they've used that to make you think you're getting a bottle of that big, and really that bottle could be that big.
Right, now Talon says definitely looks 40s-ish to me. Bottle Digging with Kyle says I see Bubbles looks 20s, so
Yeah, it's funny.
be older.
Well, if it's older, right, we've got ourselves an interesting situation because can you see inside? There is a whole cork in there. When I washed it out, the entire cork is still in there. In there it is, folks. And now I'll have to see if I can get the cork out and see what's written on it.
On the subject of lemon, we're talking conversation going on about lemon curd and lemon marmalade. Now, lemon curd is a bit like cheese curd. It is almost looks like butter, doesn't it? Marmalade is boiled up. It's like a jam, only instead of being as sweet as a jam, because they use sour or tart fruit, then it tastes a little bit more when you put it on your toast. And that's why lime doesn't. Well, I don't know, because lime can be quite tart, can't it? But so that's the difference, is marmalade is see-through.
And they have a change of colour. Look at that. Ah, nice. Cleaned up quite well, considering it was in a tip. But what a chunky jar. Do you think that's a chunky jar, dear?
It is, isn't it? Bye, Kyle. I just love it's just that perfect lumpy, solid size.
It's very solid, isn't it?
I like it. I don't know why.
It's solid indeed. But there we go. I don't know if anybody recognises that jar as to... It's very similar colour to a Bovril jar, etc., but much bigger. I often think of malt when I see big jars of that colour, but I don't know. Anybody, any ideas what would have been so near? Obviously something that needed a wide neck to get it out. Might be some kind of lotion or
Ed
potion.
said, whoa, big bottle of Marmite. Can you imagine that much Marmite? First time I ever tried Marmite, I put it on really thick, like you were putting peanut butter or something on it. Oh, it was absolutely awful. I don't mind it now, really thin.
I've got to be honest, it'd be absolutely awful if it was peanut butter, because I don't like peanut butter.
Aha, Rowena said limes contain only about a quarter to a third of the acid that oranges and lemons contain. That would explain it. Thank you.
Now we have another bottle that we found. Again, a wide neck. It makes me think of pickle, perhaps sort of Branson type pickle. And I can tell you now, because I'm doing my research as I speak to you, that it is probably pickle because it's H.J. Heinz Co. Limited.
A bit of a giveaway there then.
There we go, on the bottom.
In that big brown one, Jill said, I still think it might be malt. And West Country Mudlark said malt extract, I think. So it's looking like it could well be malt.
Now, this one, now see, with pickle jars, they are, what's the word? They're hard to get the lids off because they they make a vacuum in them, don't they? Well, they do in any jars, I suppose. So I'm thinking that's probably why they put a grip on you. Around the bottom, you've got like a ridge around the bottom so you can get hold of it. Because I have another pickle jar here. This one doesn't have Heinz on the bottom, I don't believe. No, it just has a number. But on this one, rather than put ridges all the way around the bottom, they've put ridges down here. There's ridges on the thin edge, like, so you can get a grip on it. And also they haven't made it round so it slips. You can get a grip on the bottle and catch hold of it. But I'd say that's a pickle jar as well. That's my guess is 2 pickle jars.
But we really need to have another question.
Oh, go on then. I've got one.
There we go.
Right. Now, this is linked to the video, but not to the actual mudlark. This is linked to the shed. More precisely, to the contents of the shed, because in my shed, there's a bike. In fact, there are 3 bikes. 2 of them are adult bikes. They're Caroline and my bikes that we use for cycling. The 3rd bike is a rally bike with a cute little bell on it, and it was Tech Support Tim's first ever bike, which he owned virtually 30 years ago. And it's in a bit of a poor state, but it's still there in the shed, and hopefully one day will be restored to its former glory.
Former glory.
So, having said that, I can now ask you a question regarding rally bikes.
Oh, you weren't expecting that one.
Rally was founded in 1887 by Sir Frank Bowden, and by 1920 the company was producing 100,000 push bikes a year. And during the Second World War, they were turning out 5,400 bikes a week. That's pretty good going.
It is.
But the iconic and revolutionary chopper bike, which people of a certain age...
I was a bit young, really.
Remember.
My sister had a high riser which looked like a chopper bike. I think it was a cheap knockoff.
Yeah, most people did. They produced 1.5 million of those and introduced a new phenomena. Yes, because up until then they hadn't thought of bikes as toys, bikes were vehicles. But the chopper was not a practical vehicle. It was more of a toy come bike.
Oh, the gear stick in the middle. I was like, oh, I would love one of those.
So all I need to know from you folks out there was, do you think the chopper was launched in 1966, 1969 or 1973? When do you think Raleigh launched the chopper, which they sold 1.5 million units of and created a new phenomena and put themselves way out in front in the marketplace? Was it in 1966, 1969 or 1973?
The Kentish Mudlark said, thanks Phil and Caroline, we cracked 500 subscribers yesterday and a big part of that was your support. I remember the time we only had 10. Well done, congratulations.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You're working hard and you deserve the rewards. Well done.
You do indeed. You do indeed. Anybody who hasn't subscribed, then why not check it out? Have a look at the channel. Lovely couple mudlarking down there, and I'm sure that you'll enjoy it. So if you get the chance, and pop over and have a look. And who knows, you could always be 501. Because the next thing now is, let's march on to the 1,000.
Right, I'm having a look now. Can you see number 1? Right, there we go. Oh, Linda Peterson said, my brother had a chopper bike. Lucky thing. I remember I had a Raleigh bike and it had little Michelin Men white plastic things that went into the valves on the tyres, and I thought they were wonderful. But Christmas Day my dad took me out on it, and I probably rode it 2 or 3 times after that because it was always too cold or too wet. So I hardly ever used my bike. Right then, if I go down to the bottom. Wow, look at all these answers. Well done, everyone. Right, so there's a conversation about chutney going on. Did anybody have a chopper bike themselves? That anybody was lucky enough to have a chopper? What's the matter? He's looking puzzled. This is Phil's puzzled look.
No, I'm just making sure I got the right answers, because there's lots of answers coming in, but we're all over the place on it.
Oh, chopper bikes are now worth over £1,000 in good condition.
Yeah.
I haven't got one to sell.
Never had one.
Oh, Ed Creative always wanted a BMX bike and never got one. Oh, wow. Tony Radbull Ring Cottage Collectibles. I had a yellow chopper bike. Oh, you lucky ducky.
Ah, but did you keep it in pristine condition in the garage? Because if you did,
you've got £1,000.
Very lucky ducky. You got £1,000 out there.
Anybody else had one? Had Schwinn and Heavy Bicycles in Georgia. Let's have a look. Yes, Pete had a chopper bike. Oh, another lucky ducky. Whoa. Oh, Lexi never had a bike. Never mind a chopper. Oh. Lexi's mum buy her a bike for Christmas. I'm sure she'd really love one. You might not. We don't use our bikes anywhere near as much now. We did up until about 5 years ago, but now, my knees are not happy on my bike.
Right then. The answers are all over the place, and I'm not at all surprised, because I was surprised at the answer myself. Because I would have sworn that it was launched in the 70s, and it wasn't. It was actually launched in the 60s. And it was launched according, for those who think I'm wrong, because I could have sworn it was in the 70s, according to the Raleigh Company website, their own historical page, because the company is still producing bikes in the same place as they always did. It is in 1969, which means B is the correct answer. 1969.
Well done if you got it right.
And that puts number 1 position, Dan Fetters.
Well
number
done.
2, West Country Mudlarks.
Well done.
And then I've got to go down the page to Lexi B. Who put a B?
Well done, Lexi.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, Lynette Evans said, I wish I was in good condition. And Mo said, a guy in Belfast who's in his 50s still rides around on a chopper. Probably cost him a fortune. I wonder if he had it since it was new. Oh, James had one and had a really bad accident on it. Cost £32 brand new. Ooh.
Yeah, big money in their day.
Let's have a look.
What do you think? I started work in 1977. I left school 5 weeks before I went to work in the colliery. So I was on unemployment benefit for 5 weeks, and my gyro for the 5 weeks was £45. So that would have been over 3 weeks unemployment benefit to buy one bike for a kid.
Oh, Fee in the Shed had a skateboard. I was always scared of riding skateboards. I did have some friends hold me on a skateboard once, one either side as it moved, and I didn't like it. And I got straight back off again.
Now here's a nice old jar. I don't know if you could pick up on there, on the distortion in that jar, where it's been pressed out. And there's a very large bubble in the front there. So I think that's quite nice. Had a bit of a ding on the top, but I felt it was such a lovely thing. And it's got KB Limited. Does anyone know what K and B stand for? KB Limited Co.
Could be anything.
It's going to be quite an old company to have a jar like that, I would have thought. I would have thought that jar, I would say, was pushing, it's probably 70 to 100 year old. But nice looking thing.
Bunion makers. No,
Goodness
you don't put bunions in a jar. Bonbon makers. No.
But I love all the creases in the glass where it's been moulded. And as I say, there's a nice big bubble just in there. Almost like a teardrop bubble.
We really need to have our last question because it's gone 10 o'clock. There we go.
Our last question is related to a
Come
find.
back.
And I think the find is over there.
Which one?
Possibly lying down. The one with the boats on it. It's possibly... No, it's not over there, is it?
This one? With the boats on it?
That's the one. There we go. Nice. I got to show that because Adam liked that. Adam commented and said how much he liked that. Bit of mug. And Tom used the term transferware. And you can see just there by the handle, see where the transfer has been run around. You can see where it ended just there and just pulled off. And you can also identify transferware because it'll usually be a white background and then it'll be one colour.
Can I just interrupt you because Lexi and Fee in the Shed said Kilner Brothers, KB.
There we go. Thank you very
you.
much. Thank you.
Right.
Now then, when it comes to transferware, it's true to say that England dominated the history of commercial transfer printing. It was big here. It was patented back in the 1750s. In fact, 1751, John Brooks patented it. And Britain made a fortune out of this. But it has been discovered that some items turned up in another country. And they were made by transferware and probably a year or two prior to the patent. Although it's not believed that the guys over here knew about it. It's just that technology was moving forward and two people discovered it around the same time. But these guys patented it, manufactured it, and really took it to town and took the world by storm. So I want to ask you this. From which country are those earlier pieces found? Was it France? That would be A. Denmark? B. Or Italy? C. So do you think it was France that made transferware a year or two before the boys in Birmingham? So they made it around 1749. And these boys put their patent in 1751. And actually, the guy who did it, John Brooks, he was from Ireland, but now based in Birmingham in the industrial heartlands. And they didn't copy the idea. It's believed that they came up with the idea around the same time, and it was the British ingenuity that took off and took the world by storm with it. But do you think that it was A, France, B, Denmark, or C, Italy? There we go.
That one.
Rightio. I will go back up.
Synchronising our screen. Sorry to anybody if we get the order wrong. We have to go on the order they coming in on our computers because internet speed is different all over the world.
Where are you, babe?
So we got no way of knowing really. So we just got to go on what they tell us. So we have to trust YouTube, and that's a scary thought. You got it? Oh, there's such a lot of answers come in. Do you want to check on my computer and do it on mine, or look at all these answers? Wow. Well, I didn't.
I was
know
laughing.
Where to start on that.
I was laughing last week when Sarah was trying to keep up because they do the play your cards right, and of course the numbers come in so fast. Yeah. Now I know Caroline feels every week trying to find the right one.
Right, we got it now. Or do you want to use my
Yeah,
screen?
I think I got
You
it. Just there, is it?
Let's have a check. Yes, that's the one. There we go. So I can go down to the bottom again now. Right, Catherine Moore said I had one but jumped a curb and damaged it. Oh, that must have been devastating. I've never done anything exciting like jumped a curb or climbed a tree. Couldn't ride a skateboard. I was frightened of roller skates. I would wear one roller skate. I go along with one.
You may never have ridden a skateboard, but you did end up in the local press.
I did.
As part of the story for the skateboarding.
Yes, I think I may have said this before. They said that the newspaper people were going down to the back of the library in our town to take photographs for the local paper of people on their skateboards. And me and a couple of other friends said, oh, we can't be bothered. We're not going down. So everybody from the park rushed down and they came up the park instead. And it was just me and two of my friends. We were stood watching and he was on the skateboard doing some trick. And we got to be famous and we didn't even want to be famous. So everybody else came up and said, they never turned up. We're like, well, they did, but they came up here.
Right then, I'd better give the answer because we're almost 10 minutes over time. And for those who are thinking, surely it can't be Italy again, you were wrong, because we got our terraced houses from Italy, and it was the Italians who were producing transfer wear a year or so before the boys in Birmingham. There we go, it was the Italians, which means the answer is C. And according to both our lists, that puts Adam's Advanced Adventures on the top slot.
Well done, Adam.
Followed immediately behind by West Country Mudlarks.
Well done.
Then we go down a bit because we've got a few answers that are from around the place. And then we get James.
Well done, James.
James Archard, well done. You were on the podium tonight. And right in the middle of those answers, Phyllis W has made a lovely comment saying, the Kentish Mudlarks channel caught my attention immediately with their cool music. Every one of their videos is interesting.
Well, there we go.
So there we are. There we are. A recommendation, not just from ourselves, but also from Phyllis. I thought I'd read that out for the Kentish Mudlarkers in order as a celebration of their 500 subs. That's brilliant. I hope they go from strength to strength.
Oh, sorry, I got the wrong one. Jill said, I successfully got them all wrong again. Well done, Jill.
I could assure you, so would I if it wasn't that I wrote the questions.
Right then, we better go and leave you in peace because it's now 10 past 10.
And somebody around here needs to eat their chocolate.
I wonder who that is.
I'll she.
Yeah. Under duress. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. It's been great fun. And we'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, have fun.
Bye.